until the Instagram. I'm also trying to figure out, by the way, how to live stream on the TikTok, but somehow it won't let me yet. Like the option is here, but I
Mm.
think you have to like qualify for that or something.
Oh,
Which
okay.
going live on TikTok works really well because you get a lot of eyes on you.
Mm.
Not necessarily even, perhaps not a lot of followers, but a lot of eyes, and it then pushes you into the algorithm
Okay.
with your like normal posts. So it's like a double. Okay, we're live everywhere. Hello, hello. Rich and hydrated podcast, motherfuckers. Diamonds and Demons editions. Are we hydrated?
We are.
Yeah. Oh my God. I would sacrifice my kidneys for a Starbucks. And I don't drink coffee, by the way.
No, right. You drink everything else
I just
but
want
the
like a
coffee.
pink drink or like a
Right.
iced chai tea latte,
Right.
which is basically just sugar. And I
Yep.
posted it on the Twitter and I shared it with the inner circle. And the Twitter went like, "Oh no, yeah, you can make it yourself way better at home. And just go there for one. Can't go there 2.5 hour drive. Not gonna happen. And two, no, I'm not craving healthy shit. I want the fucking cocaine sugar that's in Starbucks.
Right.
Get
Give me the
fucking with the
processed
program.
shit. Right. I want the processed shit. I want no vowels in my ingredients. Like
Can't
it should
pronounce
look
them even.
Polish. Right. It should look Polish. If my ingredients don't look Polish in English, I
I
don't
don't want it.
fucking want it. Okay. My ovaries have spoken.
Oh my God. Yes, all the water. Okay, so yeah, when you watch the Rich and Hydrated podcast, it means you have to drink a lot. And Kelly today had a small thing that she was bringing forward to discuss.
A small thing. I'm going to keep the person anonymous because it's in process right now and I'm not trying to fuck
Do
with
I
the
know the
flow.
person?
Not personally, but
But of stories. Okay.
of stories, yes. But I'm going to keep it anonymous, not because it's a bad thing, but because I'm not trying to fuck with the flow of how things are going because it's in the middle of a thing. So, but I will describe the scenario because I think it's can be universalized. Okay. So it has to do with making big decisions, right? And deciding whether, so when you make like a big decision, which she did, she made a very big decision and committed to something and realized it's not for her.
Okay. Are you talking about me in this house? Whoa, I feel attacked.
I think it'll resonate with a lot of people for
Mhm,
this reason, but no, it's not you, but it could be.
mhm.
It could be. But yeah, so made a big decision, committed to it, whatever, and is realizing, what, it's not for me. This is not going as I thought it would, and I need to change course, right? And I think, and you have to think of it as like a big decision, a big life decision, okay, with a big commitment to it, and one that's not like choosing. It's not like choosing off a menu for dinner and then saying, "Oh, I could have gotten something better." No, it's like you've put a lot of yourself into it,
You're
invested
in
in it.
right now.
Right, you're in it. So, and I was talking to her, and it was one of those things where I feel like there's two sides to it, right? Like you never really know that it's like the worst thing, and you ask yourself, well, am I just being like overly critical, and like am I just like not seeing the good side of this, and I'm
I
just in
legit
that
feel like you're
headspace,
talking about me, like in this house.
right? Like I just and that's why I wanted to bring it up because I feel like it is a very relatable topic, and I feel like we'll build on it even though not it's just
Right.
one person, whatever. But so she was telling me, she's like, part of me feels like maybe I didn't give it a good chance, and maybe I was too cynical, and maybe I was just I was in a negative headspace, so I started seeing more negative things, but really that's not the whole story, and I'm missing, maybe I'm missing something, whatever, right? Because it's one of those where if you were looking in, you would say, I don't see the problem. Like everything is set up exactly as like it's a dream setup. You've got a really good setup. Like you're sounding like your lobster's too buttery and your steak is too juicy right now. Like
You sound like champagne problems.
yeah, it sounds like you've got first world champagne problems, and you're finding flaws with this, and like there's some, she's like, that's how I feel, right? And she's like, but I know deep down this is not for me, right? And it's just not I'm not feeling like I'm in the right place, which is like a vibe, like it's a whole vibe, like. And she's like, and she's like, I really researched this. I deliberated over it. I really thought I was making the right choice when I did this. I just going through the whole thing. And I was like, she's like, and I still got it wrong. And I said, I want to stop you there with the I got it wrong part. Okay. You shouldn't be and I was trying to counsel her out of that, because I'm like, no, let's not look at it that. And I said, look, I'm not the type of person to spin shit and give it like a happier, twist than what it is. I'm a realist, and I will tell you the real shit. And I'm going to be honest with you. I said, but in this case, right, wrong doesn't look like this. Wrong is really fucked up, and wrong will let you know real fucking quick. And you're going to feel like there's no fucking way out. That's not where you are right now. Okay. Wrong is a very distinct thing with like, where it's like, it's almost universal. Like it's a bad, like there's bad shit happening, not annoying shit, not frustrating shit, legitimately, objectively bad shit is happening. Okay. Like you hear police sirens, you've witnessed a bad thing, bad shit's coming for you. Like none of that is happening to you right now. So like, get off the wrong bad ship. That's not what it is. But where you are, there are several other people similarly situated who are perfectly happy with it, which means it's not wrong. It's not for you, which is a different thing, right? And it's important to know the difference, because what you don't want to do is demonize the decision that you made, when in fact, it was just a decision made at the time with information known to you at the time, right? What you know now and what you knew then are entirely different data sets. And you're trying to sit here and to condemn yourself for not having the data set a year ago, which is impossible to do. And what I'm seeing is you gave it your best. You put your best in it. You really were thoughtful and deliberate about your choice. You made said choice. You committed to it. You saw it through as far as you could, and it's run its course, and new information is now available, and you're optimizing your life. That's what's actually happening right now. You feel wrong because you feel like I should be able to set it and forget it, but that's not how life is. Life is a series of choices and a series of trade-offs and a series of playing the odds. That's what it is. You're dealt a hand, you play the hand you're dealt. And you made the best decision you could with the hand that you were dealt, given what you knew was already played on the table. Okay? If the odds were 25% in your favor, let's say that's true. That was the highest probability of success at the time. Every other choice would have been less, which means 25% was actually very good considering the other options, right? I said, and you have to contextualize your life decisions that way, or else you will forever be kicking your ass, because your life is you optimizing from birth. You're literally doing better each time, So like, if you're each time you're like, okay, I learned this thing and now I know better and I'm going to go do better, then net you win. Net you're all set. Like you're on a good path. You're on the right path, in fact. And you wouldn't have made this decision that you're about to make now, and you wouldn't be on this course were it not for this detour here. This detour landed you in a completely different place. Okay, so like you have to contextualize your life choices in this way, because that is, your life is actually that full context. It isn't a moment in time. Just like your identity isn't a particular feeling that you have in the moment. That is fleeting and transient. Just like every decision is fleeting and transient. And you can work through that. I said, and the thing is that the decision you're making now avails you to new opportunities, different opportunities. And those opportunities might be better suited for you and not for everybody else where this is working out. This is working out, this decision where it's working for everybody else, they weren't meant to have your choices and they weren't meant to have your opportunities. Those are yours. And life's going to present them to you as they come. And you're going to be able to pick from a new batch of choices. And that's what you're ultimately looking for. You're not actually looking for the right answer. You're looking for a path forward. and where your next step is going to be. And so that's important because you're mapping that out. You're not just going to make the next decision and say, now my life is set. Your life is nowhere near set. Like, and it never will be until you're in the ground. So like it is a constant and dynamic thing, what you're living. And so rather than sit there and bemoan the fact that you didn't have a winning hand, understand that there was no winning that round. There was only mitigating loss in that round. But this round, you have a better chance of winning because you have new information and you have a better hand and you have better insight into who you are and what your actual priority should be when making a decision like this, right? So now you know yourself better, which is probably the most important thing because you won't be able to control any of the other factors, but you know you and you know exactly how you're going to respond. And now that which you thought was not that big of a deal, you've reprioritized everything. You've reconfigured your, the way in which you approach the decision. The next decision you make will be superior to the one you made before, inevitably, because you have an aversion to making a mistake, right? You don't want to be wrong, which means you're going to be cautious about it. But it also means that you're going to say, okay, but where did I get it wrong? Can I re-examine this and say, yeah, see, I didn't prioritize that and I should have. That was a bigger component than I thought it was going to be. And now that gets baked into the calculus of your decision making. And now you have a brand new decision that you've made that ultimately is superior to the one you made before. I mean, that's where you're headed, which means you should be incredibly proud of yourself for not marrying your bad decision or staying committed to a bad situation with no plan out, because you feel like if I let go of this, I'm somehow a failure, or I'm a quitter, or I'm any of those negative things, when in fact you're none of those things. You're still going. Quitting would mean that you just abandoned the whole thing. You're not. You're actually still trying to make some iteration of this endeavor to work. You're just going to get it to work in a different way. And that is perfectly fine. And then you haven't quit. You haven't given up. You haven't thrown in the towel. You haven't done any of those things. All you've done is said, it's like saying, yeah, after my divorce, I'm not going to get married and I'm never going to be in another relationship. That's not what you do. You don't abandon the entire institution because one motherfucker decided to be an asshole. What you're going to do is say, this is not for me. You're not for me. I'm not for you. I need to move on and find a situation that's better for me, right? And that's what we're doing. We're going to get on with our lives because I do believe that there is a relationship for me and there's a relationship for you, and we don't have to force this association anymore. We can do better. Each of us can. And the way in which that comes about is a bit awkward and painful and hurtful and frustrating. But in the end, that gets reconciled. That gets reconciled because you're going to look back on this and say, you know what? This is something I can hearken back to as a pivotal learning moment for myself, where I really took every lesson to heart about myself and about the world around me, the reality of doing what I did, and also just understanding that it's like, this isn't the last time I'm ever going to do anything. This is the last time I'm going to go into this particular situation. But every other situation is fully available. And that's, process of elimination, right? You've eliminated that as a viable option, but you've left everything else open to yourself.
So there's no way, by the way, that you can convince me that you weren't talking about me right now. And I love that, because then I can just keep it concrete and like as a response, right? So
Right.
just as an example, and by the way, there's a dissonance in identity for me, because I'm a serial entrepreneur since age 17, even before that, right? So I'm very well versed in trial, tribulation, flexibility, like very natural, to a point where people with normal jobs to talk to me, I'm like, I'd have no idea what you're even saying right now. Like, don't understand, can't relate. Even if I try really hard, would never be able to put myself in your place, even if I really, really fucking try, right? Now, to keep it concrete, moved to a fixer-upper, beautiful nature, poverty, thought that would be a great thing because we have the money, Either I'm gonna be actual local Jesus, and I'm gonna like rise up this fucking economy, or I'm just gonna live a ball in life, YOLO, right? Because everything is low, so like I'll be good. Um, Worst thing ever. Hate the house. Daily fantasize about the town, the nearby towns being burned down, and I'm like, that would be a net positive for the fucking world. Um, it's a full decay. Everyone's property looks like a dump, like an actual fucking dump. I'm not even talking about their own lack of self-care. They've given up on life. They are actively disrespecting the gift of life by drugs uses. Only government money is here, right? Only government money. There's no jobs because every job that gets created gets completely robbed out, right? We have one local like tractor supply, like a local one. It got burglaried 18 times in like the last 14 months, right? So nothing will survive here. It's full decay. And this is where the schism happens. So I don't know, that's not the word I'm looking for, but it sounds like it. It's like, yes, it's a lesson. We don't want to be here anymore. We've agreed. We're going to move on, right? And there is almost at least for me, a linear expectation that I hold in my mind that such big mistakes, air quotes, are to be made during a certain age frame. Because right now, right? Because like when I was up until my 32, I was traveling full time. If I didn't like it somewhere, fucking move, And I had, lived in several countries, and then several states, and like moved over 40 times, right? Now, because life has accumulated, we not only accumulate, we have a farm. Now, grabbing your shit is not as easy. Right. For very logistic reasons, right?
Sure. Yeah.
You find yourself constantly with the confrontation that you made a mistake, air quote. And it's and by the way, I know that the lesson in there is can you neutralize it and continuously zoom out that this is just going to be a speck, because everyone knows, I know you, all my inner circles know, like, wherever Bara is going to go next, going to be fucking baller. Because we tried this, not going to be it. Before this, had a great house too, right? So like, it feels like a constant mistake. This happens for relationships. This happens for work, right? Where you're just like, how the fuck did I fucking end up here? Because I was on a growing trajectory in the whole spectrum of life. How did I fucking have to dip? There's almost I shouldn't be having to dip this fucking low when I'm constantly and actively and consciously growing my life.
Right.
And that's where the fucking rubber meets the fucking road, baby. Because this is where the practice of life is.
Right.
Because it's easy to, have a fucking great life when everything's easy and great.
Right.
But how do you fucking show up when you don't?
Right. And that is, and so that's, there was somebody said this and it stuck with me. I think it was, I forget his name. I'll remember it after we hang up probably. But there was a comedian and he was talking seriously for a moment about, people worrying about others falling through the cracks, right? That whole metaphor of like people are going to fall through the cracks, which people say that because what they're actually saying is that, the norm is that we're all above the cracks. And then the people who fall through are the ones that were forgotten or not considered or were victims of a policy or whatever it is, right?
Or some outlying.
Right. There's some sort of like neglect of these people who ultimately were not caught by this good thing that everybody else has got going on, right? Like, and so, and he said, no, that's not what it is. He says, life is the cracks. The whole thing is just the cracks. He's like, that's what you're navigating. He says, the few times where you're up on top, that's your reprieve. That's what you've earned, but that's temporary until the next crack comes along. He says, that's what you're doing. You're jumping from crack to crack. He's like, we're all falling through cracks and then getting ourselves back out. That is actually what life is. He's like, the idea and the expectation that everything will always be like up here, level set, and never get shaken up is not a thing. He's like, People who are wealthy, they pay lawyers, CPAs, PR groups, and all sorts of stuff. What? To keep them out of the cracks and to navigate the cracks for them. Why? Because there's always a lawsuit. There's always some IRS bullshit. There's always some scandal. And there's always some sort of misinterpretation of who you are and your reputation that you have to constantly preserve. And your wealth has to be preserved, which means there's teams of people making sure your shit does not fall too far down the cracks, right? There's teams of people navigating that for you. So this idea that like an Elon Musk doesn't navigate cracks is bullshit. His ass is like permanently on the razor's edge, right? Like same with Bezos. The greater your success,
the more responsibility you carry, the larger the cracks and the
100%.
shorter the interval between falling from one crack to another.
1,000,000%. You are walking on like the tops of like,
cracker to crack cracks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, needles.
You're doing that like all the time, precariously trying to get across to the next goal. And it's like, and so when people, and if you think about it, like if I were to look at how far somebody had to fall from, a person, from like, let's say they're single and they were renting an apartment and they lost their job, right? And they lost their $20 an hour job, right? That feels like a long fall for that person. That is a very short distance compared to how far a person falls when they've got a family and a mortgage and, and they're trying to put one kid through school and their business collapses. Like, like the whole industry gets shut down because COVID or whatever, right? Like that level of devastation is immense. The proximity to failure is much further. Mm-hmm. And so the fall is harder and longer. And the amount that you're watching lose, yourself lose in the process, all you're trying to do is mitigate loss. And like, maybe I can catch myself in the mid fall and not fall all the way, is your next big thought, and a person who lives proximate to poverty isn't unfamiliar with it. They are actually quite familiar with that. And all they're trying to do is stay out of it. And maybe I can create a little distance between me and that would be cool, right? The standard is completely different. And it's not to diminish the failure or the struggle. It's not to make little of it. It's just that the proportion of that fall is much different. And the ways in the ways in which you can fail are limited. They are. You lose your job, that's kind of it, or you like a check engine light comes on and okay. But you're one small turn away from like, holy shit. Whereas there's a lot of things that come tumbling down if an Elon Musk doesn't keep himself afloat. Like,
no, yes, everything to that. And I'll always take the opportunity to shit on the online poors, as per virtue of who I am. One thing that I'm really seeing talking about the cracks is that there is a certain arrogance about a lot of poor people. And in this case, I'm talking financially poor, right? Mm-hmm. Which financially poor is a direct result of mentally being poor. For one, and I'm going to use myself as an example, right? I will never be above doing the most disgusting, filthy work ever. Like, I'm not above it. I will if I had to clean toilet, I will clean toilets again if I have to. Mind you, within 3 months, I will own those toilets.
Right.
I will work my way up, but I will never be above anything that needs to happen to get where I need to get.
Right.
If that's survival, back in the day, it was survival. Now it's abundant fucking luxury. Like, right? It's like a next level luxury. We've surpassed champagne problems, but I will never be above the work.
Sure. Right.
And the more I am willing to do the most filthy, disgusting thing, the less I ironically have to do it, by the way. It's funny how the universe kind of operates that way, right? Like, she's willing to do the work. Okay, well, here. And one thing that I'm seeing a lot around poverty for one, is an arrogance,
Mhm.
that they know how the world works. And I made a lot of posts about it this week. And Andrew Tate, whatever the fuck everyone thinks about him, he has this example where you will tell a poor person, I'm like, hey, what do you want to become? And he's like, I want to become a professional piano player. Oh, that's great. Here you have like the master of the master piano teachers. And the master of the master piano teachers will come in and he's like, you need to put your hands like this, right? Well, I'm going to teach you from scratch. And the poor person goes like, no, I don't really like it that way. I've been doing it this way, not realizing the fucking arrogance in what's just happening, right? And if you are of that mindset, what I'm saying right now, you won't even clock it. You're well, yeah, everyone has their own way. No,
No.
it's about understanding and willing where you are in the hierarchy and your willingness to do stuff.
Right.
So, and I don't know, you and I have talked about this plenty, like where does self-awareness comes in? Because why is it that, one person repeats the endless pattern, right?
Right.
Living check to check engine light completely blowing you out,
Right.
doing the same fucking thing, just trying to do it with more energy or
Right.
something, right? Like,
Right.
okay, I'm going to do it just more awake. Like you're trying to lift weights. I'm going to lift weights harder or something, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm going to work harder, live life harder. Look, something that you're doing is clearly not working. How can you not clock that?
Right.
And people go through life their whole life.
Right.
And then on top of that, they will go like, but shit, fuck Elon Musk, fuck the
Right.
rich people, fuck
Right.
Red, fuck Kelly with their
Right.
fucking drones and their champagne problems.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think I don't, I think you're right. I think it's people not only are people kind of entitled and a bit, arrogant about it. I think it's their ignorance, right? They have no perspective. They have no idea, like, that's why they can talk about stuff like wealth taxes, right? They can say, oh, just tax the rich more. And I'm just like, yeah, you're going to fuck up everything if you do that. Like,
but the thing is, you will explain it and they will like die on that hill.
Oh, 100%.
For one, they didn't come up with that phrase themselves, right?
No, of course not. It's a bumper sticker. Yeah.
Right. It's a bumper sticker. And it's like, that sounds like that's a great bumper sticker. Yes, yes, yes. You can explain to them and still like people will hear you explain it and they'll be like, it's just like a block. Like it legit doesn't even reach them. The dissonance is so big. So what is it? Is it self-awareness? What are we searching for here?
I don't know about, I think self-awareness is something that comes when you have some modicum of perspective, right? Like I don't have to be Elon Musk to understand what his place is in the world, right? I don't need to be him in order to get it. Just like I don't need to be murdered to understand that murder is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain things that do not need to be experienced in order for you to make an assessment, right? Like I shouldn't have to. So like, and it's like, they're just heuristically true. So like I can make that observation. I think the problem is that it's more about, I think a lot of it has to do with pride, and ignorance. Like that's more like the combination that I'm seeing. Because if you think about it, I'm certainly not going to take responsibility for my plight in life because I was born poor and I was born to insert minority and I was born this way and that way and I can't get, and these are just my defaults and my defaults have set me up to be, poor and sad and miserable in a world that normalizes something that's not me. And it's like, whatever that means. It's like, and I've already have this baked in excuse. That's the pride component, right? The ignorance is the fact that they think every single success story is an exception and not a rule. And it's only an exception because you won't participate to make it a rule. Like success should be a rule. And it can be, and it has been in the past, it has been 100%.
And it still is.
Right. But you've treated it as an exception, and you've excluded yourself. And you've said, well, I'm not,
that's so good.
It's true.
That's so good. Yeah.
Right. And you've said, I'm not part of this. I'm not part of this. That's somebody else's shit.
Good.
And it's like, okay, well, you did that to yourself, right? About DJ Khaled and his, congratulations, you played yourself, and that's literally what you did. Is like
like that meme.
Yeah, it's a total. You're
Put a
acting
stick in
like a
your bike.
mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just, and I think people miss that. Like they have a completely skewed worldview that has them sitting outside of the game when it's just like, you can make this up as you go, right? There's no actual hard and fast rules. All there are is best practices. And if you can humble yourself enough to learn those, you can go from there. Like you were talking about with the piano, right? The piano instructor is going to teach you his best practices and he's going to give you guidelines. Once you get comfortable enough and knowledgeable enough, you will put your own spin on it and you will take off with that and build upon it. He's only laying down foundational
But the
data.
foundation is necessary, and people
Correct.
think they're above foundation. I'm like,
Right. And that's what they don't get. They don't understand that it's
yeah,
like you have an immense amount of creative license to take off with this thing once you lay this down and once you get the basic principles. After that, you can go and play with shit and see, stylistically, maybe I do this, maybe I do that, maybe, whatever.
it's
You
like
can do
building
it.
a house. You
Right.
can do whatever the fuck you want, but you need a foundation.
The foundation is not sexy, but it's necessary, right?
Right.
It's going to keep your house up.
Mm.
It's going to keep all this
Whatever
shit
house
going.
you want a
Yeah.
castle, want a little cabin, whatever it is, but it needs a foundation.
Yeah. So I feel like that's kind of what it is. And I don't think people understand that part. I don't think people understand that kind of like best practice or like basic building blocks to success, and that it is the same thing as building a house. Like you can decorate it however you want, and you can add as many rooms as you want, and you can go as high as you want. There's so many different things that are available to you once you lay this down. But those options aren't available until you lay this down. And it's like you have to unlock it with this. And they're not seeing that as like that foundational practice is somehow a portal into this whole other structure that they themselves can just fuck around with. Like I can do all sorts of stuff now. And it's like, okay, but you're not going to see that from here. You're not going
Right.
to see it from here. This is something you have to trust is on the other side, And it's not to say that it's faith-based because it's provable, right? It is provable, but it's one of those things where it's like you have to trust yourself and you have to trust your mentors and you have to trust what you're learning enough to do that basic work. And that's hard because if you're coming from a place where you had everything already kind of templated out for you, somebody else built a foundation so that you can just come and build their house for them, which is an employee, right? Then you're so used to building somebody else's dream, you never understood all the foundational stuff they did before they could even hire your ass. You have no idea, you have no insight into that. You just like you don't know about the part where Harrison Ford was living as a poor carpenter, or that Tom Hanks was living out of his car, right? You don't know that part. You know the part where he got the Golden Globe or he got the Emmy or he got the the Grammys or whatever. That's what you remember. You know the awards and the accolades and the movies and the red carpet. You don't know the part where he did all of this other stuff.
Yeah.
That sucks. But
I think a lot of people misconstrue their life as that foundation. I'm like, no, you're starting from, you're below the foundation right now.
Oh, you're coming to bare land that has not even been leveled. Yeah.
Right.
It hasn't even been leveled. The surveyor has not even come out yet. You've just got this plot.
Yeah, because it looks cute on a picture.
That's right. And you bought the picture. And now it's like, okay, that's fine. But now you got to do something with it, right? And it's like anything else. You're going to, if it's wealth, you're going to manage it. If it's money, you're going to invest it. If it's land, you're going to build on it. There's work to be done. All you have is raw material right now, right? And maybe a vision, and if you can do that, then you can work that which you were given or that which you've earned or that small piece, right? And you can work that, then it can be whatever you want it to be, which is, interesting because we have games now like Roblox and Minecraft where people build out their own worlds and they enjoy it. I think there's like an animal one, like Farmville or something like that, where there's a bunch of them.
The Sims.
Yeah, they
Second
curate.
Life,
Yeah,
right,
they
is
curate their.
literally creating a life.
That's right. They're curating, their own home and their neighborhood and their plants, and they're doing all. It's like, why is it that you're willing to do that on a computer screen, but you're not willing to do it for yourself in real life? So you're sitting here in your mom's basement, and you've built out the best fucking life for this non-existent pig person, and you won't
Yeah.
fucking do it for yourself. Like, then
Well,
you're
it's
just a
this is
coward.
yeah. Well, so what you're saying is right now is so good because I used to, when I was like younger and I had my first computer, I used to love Sims 1 only
Mhm.
for building houses. I couldn't care less about, building their
Yeah.
skills. I just loved building the houses. And I often still think about that because you have now all these like extension packs. I
Mhm.
haven't played Sims since Sims 1, since I was like 14 or something, right? So I have no idea what it's like, but I can see you have all these extension packs. And I'm like, what a great way for the architectural part, right? I would love to play Sims for the architectural part. And I made a post about like I would love to have a computer just to build in Sims and play Sims. And everyone's like, "Well, you can do both." I'm like, For one, no, I can't because it fucking eats time.
Yeah.
And two, I'm a real life Sim right now, right? Like everyone is, because it's like either I'm gonna build on the real life or I'm gonna build here
Yeah.
online. And
That's
I'm
right.
talking beyond just the architectural because that's just fun
Right.
to play around with.
Right.
But like, no, I'm not gonna build a skill for this character.
Yeah. And invest so much effort into this non-existent life.
Hundreds of hours,
Right.
hundreds of thousands of hours.
But you're not willing to do that for you is
Was the same
really.
with the Do you remember the Tamagotchi?
Oh yeah, I remember those. Yeah, I remember those.
How invested everyone was. Oh, my Tamagotchi needs food. Oh, my Tamagotchi needs drink. Oh, my Tamagotchi needs to be walked. Bitch, you need to Tamagotchi yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a great phrase, by the way. Bitch, you need to Tamagotchi yourself.
For real. But that's true. Like, it's so, and it's like, it reminds me of this, and I will say it, it was Chris and I both, when we heard this, we're like, this is the most ridiculous shit ever, but I'm going to tell you because you should join me in this. There's that anxiety that like people say they have, where I can ask for more ketchup for a friend, but I can't
Menu
do it for myself.
anxiety. Oh,
Is that
right,
what
right,
that?
right. Yeah.
But I can't do
No,
it for
menu
myself.
anxiety is when you have too many options on your
No,
menu, and that gives
no.
you
This is the
anxiety.
one where it's like I need more ketchup, but I won't ask for myself, but I can do it for my friend.
Yes, that's
Right?
it has an official name now.
It
Yes.
does. It has something, but somebody had told me that somebody had said that and described it, and I was just like, that is the most bullshit thing I've ever heard. You're out of your damn mind. That is a whole block. You literally just put a wall in the middle of your living room for no fucking reason. Why?
Yep.
What the
Yep.
hell? That is like that is
Yep.
ridiculous. And I was like, are you fucking serious? And it was like they convinced themselves that like
Mhm.
I can so do this for somebody else. And I'm like, so what do you do? Like now you have to trade each other's lives where it's like if I need more ketchup, I whisper that to you so that you can ask for me. And then if you need more ketchup, I ask for you because neither of us can ask for ourselves. You need a constant buddy with you to do all the requesting because you can't just ask. Like that's fucked up. Like I was like, no, you're just fucked up. This is not a real thing. Quit pretending that this is a real thing. This is a fake thing that you put in your fake ass fucking life for no fucking reason. Like,
Yep.
and I'm like, but that's the thing. Everybody's willing to do something for someone else because at the end of the day, what they're really trying to do is defer any sort of consequence, however tiny it is. Like, I'm asking for somebody else, not myself, so it's okay. Right? I'm not an imposition. If I was asking for me, then I would feel I'd feel like I was putting you out. But I'm not putting you out because I'm doing this for somebody else, which makes me benevolent. And I'm like, you're literally trying to elevate yourself by doing things for others to the point where you've deprecated yourself and you can't do jack shit for you. Like, no, like just no. I reject it. I reject it entirely. I'm like, no, I don't.
I reject you. I reject this. I don't know. No.
All of it. Yeah. No. Go ask for your own fucking ketchup. Like this is stupid. Like quit being a bitch. Like for real.
But the distance between any functioning human being and those people, the distance is so big now.
For real though.
The gap is so large.
Which is sad.
for them mostly. Like
It is. But
YOLO
it's sad to
champagne problems
see.
any
But
day here.
it's a tragedy. What makes it so tragic, right? Like there's the tragedy of like things happen that's being done to other people,
Word.
which is like, and that sucks. But you actually feel like sympathy for people because they're on the receiving end of something they cannot control, right?
Right.
Like
They didn't
that's
ask for it. They didn't actively put themselves in
no,
ways
but here
to.
I am. Like here I am fucked because somebody did this to me. That's
Yeah.
its own thing. But
Yeah.
the fact that you are a victim of your own circumstances and decisions.
Yeah.
And you've taken yourself out of the race and you feel like that's somehow noble.
Yeah.
Is
there's a nobility to it too. Mm-hmm.
like you gave yourself a fucking gold star for quitting. Like, is that what you're fucking doing? Like, this is what you guys are doing. You guys are fucking like, it's a race to the bottom.
So isn't this when you have not cultivated? So this is the thing. It's not even the skill of when you are a child can't walk yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything in you wants to walk. It's not a drive that you like. The infant doesn't sit down and think like, oh, I want to learn how to walk. Like it's a innate natural drive, right? You can't stop that. Matter of fact, most parents try by putting cushions everywhere, but they're trying to minimize, right? But you can't stop that drive.
Right.
So it's such an unnatural place to be in, to not only not want to win, but want to win at how well you can lose.
I mean,
like I am the biggest loser. Look at how good I am at losing. Look how, give me a golden medal for being at the lowest fucking bottom of the barrel that I actively placed myself in, by the way. Not that by virtue of external circumstances happened. No, right. I placed myself in this.
Yeah. I'm now playing at the low end of the gene pool, right? Like I'm playing in this space of like shallow shit where it's just like, I never had the guts to go to the deep end of the pool. So now I'm going to show you how I can do all this petty bullshit in the shallow end of the pool. And it's just like, and look, I can do all this stuff. And it's just like, okay, but that's nothing. Like you're not accomplishing anything. And you've redefined, what you've done is you've narrowed the scope of life in general and said, now I'm setting these tiny standards in this tiny scope that I had to make up, right? I literally had to contrive them because nobody else is striving for this. So I created a goal out of nowhere to just be this benevolent, like simpering fool that can't do anything. Like, and I mean, to me, I'm disappointed in people like that. People like that are just like, wow, what a fucking waste. What a fucking waste.
Net negative.
Your mom went through like
hours of fucking birthing you
so that you could suffering. Just do this gay shit right here. Like, oh my God.
Let's bring it further. The ancestors who were raped, pillaged.
Right. And lived through war after war.
Actual famine. Right. How do you pronounce the word?
Famine.
Thank you. And you're here. Look at me. I'm asking ketchup for my friend.
Because I can't ask for myself.
What?
This is you right now. Like, and this is what breaks my heart, because I tell people all the time, I'm like, you can't convince me that this is the worst time to be alive.
No,
you cannot.
Fully reject
that. I'm like, are you fucking joking? My mom's mom lived through World War II. Mm-hmm. My dad's mom lived through a depression. Mm-hmm. She was born on a boat. Like my great grandparents came over on a boat. Like, do you understand what boats were like?
No. People don't understand. This is the thing. They don't.
They have no idea what that means.
And they will still convince you that now, whatever we're going through right now is still harder to justify it for themselves, right?
Right. I mean, so you have people who actually lived during Jim Crow versus people who don't live in Jim Crow. You have people who actually were slaves versus people who are no longer slaves. And I'm like, your fucking life, you are living your fucking ancestors' dream right now, and they're pissed at the nightmare you've created out of it. Like,
your ancestors couldn't even dream this up. That's so far beyond their scope. Like,
right,
it surpasses any of their dreams.
right. I mean, if I think about it, my great grandparents were like, man, I hope my children can have a house, a place to live, and be
And
able to feed their kids, and that there's
like food, like just food
all
available.
the time.
Just
All
food
the time.
available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To their families. I came here so that you could feed your kids. Like, that's literally their whole fucking ambition, right?
And now you're morbidly obese, eating fucking 20 Twinkies a day and
Right.
McDonald's. Like,
Right.
what?
And sitting there complaining that your life is so fucking hard, that you have to drive a car that they could never have afforded. Like, that's a luxury, right? You live in a place where, I mean, you're sitting here and like you're saying, why can't I have a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment on my minimum wage job? And they're sitting there living 3 families to a fucking shanty, a tenement, you know, basically a freight container, and they've got 3 generations of motherfuckers living there, right? And they're all sharing like one pot of food. And it's like, I mean, this is something you literally see in Bangkok. Like, I was staying at the Sheraton my first night in Bangkok. I stayed at the Sheraton. I opened the window and I'm literally looking at 3 generations of people gathered around one pot, and everybody has their little bowl and they're all sitting around. It's one room. They're going to eat there. They're going to sleep there. They're going to wake up there. And they have, I think they had a shared bathroom in the building. I think. I couldn't see the whole building, but it was wide open. Like, there's just a whole tenement there. Like, I'm just like, and it's just stacked on top of each other. They're literally in freight containers. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And they're fucking happy and well adjusted. That's this is what's really embarrassing, is that the kids are fucking laughing. They're running around playing and shit.
Yep.
And the grandma's just like pointing, and the uncle's kind of egging them on, or what. I can't tell who's who, but like, I mean, there's so many generations. They're sitting in this one fucking room, and I'm watching this unfold. I opened the window to my hotel and I'm watching all this, and I'm just like, and then you go out on the street and they're all fucking happy as fuck. I'm like, how the fuck are they so goddamn happy? Because they sold 1 papaya today. And you're sitting here working 8 hours a day, complaining that you have to work 8 hours a day, and nothing you make is enough.
Yeah. You know, like, people don't understand. This is the thing. I'm willing to work fucking 16 hours a day of the most lowest job. No problem. If I have to, let's go, baby.
Right.
Like, you get to work because there's a work opportunity.
Right.
You mean there is work? You get to do something and you
Someone
get money in
created
return?
that opportunity.
Oh my God.
For
Say
you.
less. Right.
Right.
I'm in.
Because you didn't have to do it yourself. So like, how much more can we hand your life to you? Like, I'm just wondering, do I need to cut your eggs into smaller bites because you cannot eat what's on your plate? Because holy shit.
Word.
Like, that's the kind of embarrassing shit that you see. And I'm just like,
word.
I mean, like, I don't know what to do about those people, but there's more of them, and there shouldn't be.
No, so at this point, Zane, you know Zane, obviously. Zane and I always, you'll see him at the wedding too. Like, Zane's always like, we must help these people. I'm like, no, y'all can fucking drown. No, I am not trying to pull y'all out of whatever fucking hellhole y'all have created for yourself with your. I don't even have a small violin.
Right.
I don't even have. No. Yeah. If you need your if you need such a hard push to perform at the absolutely basic minimum as a human,
right.
No. The bar is so low. No.
It's the same thing as like accountability partner. You mean somebody who has to
babysit your shit? No, I'm doing it or I'm not.
Are you doing this or not? Right. Are you going to do this or aren't you? Like, if you're not going to do it, no fucking do it. Like, don't fucking play in my face, you know? But it's like, but it's the whole thing of like what you're saying is basically like the social Darwinism that I'm just like, I'm for it, you know, like I'm for it. I'm like, I used to think, well, there's some that can be helped, and I'm sure there are, but those people want to be helped and they're going to seek help and then they're going to go get help.
Right.
Right.
And what you're talking about with accountability, this is the thing, right? Accountability is always one person who's ahead of you, and you're being a fucking drag and dead weight too.
For real though.
That's what you mean when you want an accountability person.
Right.
Because two blind people
They're
helping
not
each
gonna-
other not be blind and going help, it's not happening, right?
Right.
I love fucking peer pressure. That's why I'm in fucking masterminds with people making $150,000, $200,000 a month, because
Right.
now there's peer pressure, baby. I'm like, this works really well for me.
Right.
Let's
Peer pressure
fucking
and
go.
shaming. Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, hell
It's
yeah.
called
Because
discipline. but-
if I don't participate in the agreements that I made, I'll be kicked out of the group. Love it.
Right. Consequences.
Let's fucking go.
Surprise. Like that's life. Like
I can stay with my own type of people who make the same money.
Yeah.
Right? I'm fine
Right.
here. Clearly, I'm really, really good here. But I want to go to the next level. Requires other things.
Right. Exactly. You have to be willing to do whatever the next thing is, and it's like, look, I don't believe that I don't believe that these detours that people take are the same as what these losers are doing. Like losers are
No.
not taking detours. Those are wrong decisions, right? So going back to the original point,
Yes.
these losers are making actual wrong, bad decisions.
Yep.
And you can tell because you know them by their fruit, right? You know them by what they are. And they're miserable, they're sad, they're pathetic, they have nothing, and they can't, and they have nothing good to say of themselves, and they can't even order their own fucking ketchup. So like that's a culmination of bad choices, right? Taking a detour is not the same thing. Like you made a good, and for all intents and purposes, to say to the person who I was talking to, you didn't make a bad or wrong choice. You made a choice. And I don't even know if it deserves a value judgment retrospectively. It deserves a value judgment now. Is it still the best choice, or are there new ones that you can do better with? That's all. You're just reevaluating your circumstances based on new things. That's not quitting. That's not being a loser. That's not sucking at life. That's none of those things. That's why I refuse to let people who do that call it a bad choice or wrong, because it's not, because that does require bad, wrong things in you and in your output, and I don't see that. And if I don't see that, I want wrong and bad to be its own category, and I don't like that shit permeating into people who are actual winners at life, who are actually high potential people, who are busting their ass and doing the right thing all along, right? And making really great choices, except for the one that didn't work out. Then that's an exception, not a rule for you. Like this is just a blip on the map. You're going to be fine. Like you've got this. The next one is you're good. You're going to correct all of this. It's going to be fine. You're going to get right back up and go,
Yeah. And let's end on that one. That was a whole fucking sermon, baby. This was a blip. This is an exception, not the rule. The next one is going to be fucking corrected, all of it.
Yeah.
There we fucking go. Hell yeah. Love it. Rich and hydrated. Everyone, Diamonds and Demons editions. Everyone hydrate together. So we create a water portal of magic and sorcery. Next week, back on the Tuesdays, 2 p.m. I don't fucking know. California time. Figure out your life, everyone. See y'all next week.